Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel for another live video. I'm just going to give it a few minutes and let you join while we wait for other people to join as well. I hope that you are all well. It's great to be with you again. I hope that you have got everything you need for Christmas all sorted. It's Christmas soon, and yeah, hopefully it will be a good time of the year for you. And if it's a difficult time of the year, know that my thoughts are with you. So I have a cup of coffee with me, and we'll see how much I actually drink. It's normally when I start coloring in, I don't finish my coffee. Right, so we are coloring in Garden of Fairytale Animals by Kanoka Egusa. This book is the English version of Rhapsody in the Forest, and we are coloring in a Christmas video. Now, I have got 2 pages that I'm working on. One of them is a video series, a color along video series that I'm busy with. But for this live stream, we are going to see if we can finalize this page. So as you can see, I've already started working on the background, and I'm using only really 2 pencils for the background, and I've tried to do a bit of darks and lights, but I don't want to do too much in the background because it's just a wallpaper. I want to draw the attention to the tree as much as I possibly can. So we're going to have a look at finishing the bows and the holly leaves, and then I will show you how to do the background. It's not really difficult, it's quite simple. I don't know how to do very fancy backgrounds, so I'm sure that this is more than enough. As you can see, I've also completed all the decorations on the tree using the same color combinations as I did on Tuesday's video. So I want to do the holly leaves a bit more muted, so I'm not going to use vibrant colors. I think what I'm going to do is use a grey-green light and a celadon green. Now I know that holly leaves are actually a darker a dark green, but because of the Christmas tree, those shades of green, we really don't want to have necessarily dark green there. I mean, you could. Hi Sue, thanks for joining. I am using Prismacolor pencils. I find that they work quite well. I do have to work them. I have also been using a colorless blender, and that seems to work okay as well. The blend isn't as smooth as I'd like it to be, but I think that's more the paper. So we'll see. I have tried polychromos in this book and I don't like it. It's even more hard work. So alright, I'm going to play around with the colors. We're going to get out a dark green, because if the celadon green doesn't work, we can always do dark green and a grey-green light and see if that works well. And then we might do the bows white. I don't want to do more gold. I think it's got quite a lot of gold as it is. No, it's not the Prisma blender. I only have the Derwent colorless blender, so that's the blender I have. What's bothering me with the Derwent blender is it's got all this like dirtiness on the core, and I've tried sharpening it away, but I think it's just the way it's been made. So at some point in time I want to actually get the Prisma blender and try that out and see how it works. Hi Katrina, how are you? It's great to have you. Thank you. I'm glad you like the tree. Okay, so let me start with the Celadon green, and I'll just test it and see how it goes. Because I'm worried it actually might be a bit too light. And again, I'm not going to do anything terribly fancy because yeah, I think that's going to be too light. So if I bring in the dark green, so I'm just going to test the colors. So this is just the dark green. All right, I'm going to zoom you in a bit more so you can see a bit better. There we go. So I've gone and changed my dining tables around. I don't normally move furniture, but we had my eldest son's tutor group come over, and I needed a table that seated more children in a bigger room. So we moved tables. So I'm testing out to see which table I like better for coloring, because with this table it seats more people, but it's also lower, so I'm hoping I'll figure out which table actually works best. Right, so I quite like this dark green, and I think we're going to need a grey. So I'm going to bring in a 70% warm grey for just the darker parts of my shadows, and then I'll go over that with the dark green again, and then I'll use the grey-green light. So if we go over that now, so I quite like the blue background. I feel that it complements the colors really well, so it helps pop all the elements. And yeah, I'm glad that I went for that instead of, you know, worrying too much, because blue and green are analogous, and then you've got the yellow which contrasts, and the red also contrasts. All right, so now I've got the grey-green light. All right, so if we look here, this bit here is underneath a leaf. So we're going to darken that up. And that will help us see which leaves are on top of other leaves. And then I think I showed you in the previous, on Tuesday's video, I used a gel pen for the berries. Do you want a color theory lesson? Happily give you one quickly. I find if you know your color wheel, or just some basics of your color theory, it does help with balancing your page or complementing it. It doesn't have to, you don't have to know like too much really, or overthink it. All right, so I'm thinking that will work for the leaves. So I'm going to quickly go, I've got 1, 2, 3 more on the one side, and then that's all the leaves. So we'll just go through and do those quickly. And what's, in some ways, what is nice with these sort of books is you have a repeated pattern, so you could color it pretty much the same and it will look nice. But if you want to vary it, you can. I mean, because it's wallpaper, I don't feel you need to worry too much about making each leaf different. Normally wallpaper or fabrics with these sort of patterns have pretty much the same sort of style going for them. Thank you, Sue. I've been coloring since 2020 in lockdown. That's when I started coloring more purposefully. I had played around with colored pencils from 2013, but the bulk of what I learned from 2020 during the lockdown. And I've just taught myself using YouTube videos, really. I apologize if the camera is moving around a lot. I will try and not bounce the table too much. Now with grays really are helpful in accenting your shadowed areas. So I've found the grays against greens are quite good, and you can use a dark indigo as well. So a dark indigo with a dark green, they work quite well to deepen your shadowed areas. A mulberry purple, like in your castle art set, that type of mulberry, or I think in the Prismacolor it would be more of an imperial violet or a violet. You can also use that on green to darken your shadowed areas. And that will just help you separate your 3 layers, your dark shadowed areas from your mid-tone, which is like the green, and your light area or your highlight, which is your lighter color. And then you can use very light colors, like I'm using the gray-green light as a blender and as a highlight, and that helps to blend out your gradient as well. Or you could put down a medium to light pressure and then go over it with a blending pencil. Now I find with backgrounds, your blending pencil works quite well, and it can also save your pencils. Now with color theory, your primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. You can't really make those colors, but you can make purple by mixing red and blue, orange, yellow and red, and green with yellow and blue. And that's how we get our secondary colors, or all the different shades of your main three colors. So you get your blue kind of greens, which is the dark green here that I'm using, or you can get a chartreuse, which is more of a yellowy green, and it's all that is just varying how much the two colors have been mixed. The same applies to your violets, your reds. So these reds that I chose have more of a yellow or an orange undertone to them. Now with your color wheel, you get the main colors. So if you have, I don't know, I have to get a color wheel, but you have, let's say, blue up here, red here, yellow, and you'll have green. Yeah, I've got that the wrong way. So the opposites, if they're opposite each other, they complement each other. If they're next to each other, they're analogous, and that's how you start to work out. Now, purples, pinks, and blues, they're all analogous, and they'll all work really well with each other. You can have some colors that are analogous. In this case, it would be the golds and the greens, or the reds and the blues. And then you can also have some colors that are complementary. And what I've learned with time and just practice is the more colors you have, depending on the picture you want, it can either look just too much, but if you work on just picking out 2 or 3 colors, making sure one of them is complementary, then your color palette is pretty good. Now I know to put this line darker because that's where everything is pointing to, and inside the tips, that's going to be a bit more of a shadowed area where it's covered up or something is on top overlaying, that will cast a shadow. Every now and then I find I've missed a holly berry. So here I missed one. You can do the berries with pencil as well if you would prefer. I just felt that they were really tiny and I didn't want the faff of having super sharp pencils to get into a super small circle. So I decided to go for the gel pen. I find on this paper, if there's several layers of Prismacolor, the blending isn't too bad. But if you haven't got too many layers, then you do have to work for that blend. I haven't tested any water-based mediums in this book, but I do want to try and test Neocolors and Inktense and see how they react. Right, so these are the last hollyberry leaves. And they're a little confusing on this side here, but we'll figure it out. So, do you have another preference for our next Christmas color along series? Because I'm hoping that we can finish this page today. So if you have any books that you would like to see colored in, any Christmas books, do let me know and I will see if I have them and get started planning for Tuesday's color along. I have got a couple of coloring books that I bought in the end of November, early December. I'm waiting to see if I get any coloring supplies or books for Christmas as gifts from family. If not, then I'm hoping to get myself a little bit more, and then I will do a bit of a Christmas haul video. So I'll have to go onto my Amazon wish list and have a look and see which ones I want to buy. And I decided to wait till after Christmas, so if any friends or family have decided to get me a coloring gift, I don't go and buy something that they've already bought. But I'm looking forward to it because I've been umming and ahhing over a few books, and I want to get myself some pearlescent watercolors for backgrounds. So yeah, it's going to be good. But for as far as Christmas coloring goes, I've got these pages in the Kanoka Egusa books. I've got a couple of Teresa Goodridge coloring books for Christmas coloring books, and I have some of the Coloring Heaven Christmas specials. Okay, so now we have the laurel wreath, which is up here. Now that one, I think we might actually have to do a olive green. We could actually do a moss green. So I'm going to bring out the moss green and the pale sage. I think that will work all right. So I've been playing Nat King Cole Christmas songs and a couple of the other playlists at home, and then playing games because the kids are on school holidays now, so playing games with them. My one boy wants to color in Christmas pictures, so when I can, we try to sit down together. So this is the pale sage, and we try color in Christmas pictures. But then in January, I'm hoping to do more winter themed pictures. So I'm just going to base the whole laurel wreath in the pale sage, and then I'm just going to do shadowed areas with moss green. So have you been doing any Christmas coloring? Are you hoping to do more Christmas coloring as the holidays kick off? So this is the moss green. And again, nothing really fancy because one, you don't have a lot of space to be too fancy, and two, it's not the main focal point of our picture. So I'm just really trying to do the darker bits more where the leaves are overlapping over each other, and then the tips are lighter. Right, and that's probably the bulk of what I would do for the wreath. So now we have bows, and I was thinking of making the bows white. So for that we are going to need some cool grays and a white pencil and maybe a little bit of blue. So I'm going to use a 30% cool gray followed by, if I can find it, actually we could use this, is this a slate gray? Yeah, we can use a slate gray. Okay, so I'm going to use my slate gray and I'm going to go over this blue area with my grays. So I'm going to come over that with my 30% cool gray. And I forgot this section here. And then we're going to use a 90% cool gray, which is, I think, PC1068. And I'm going to use that for the shadowed areas. And then the white pencil will be to blend it all together. And again, you want to keep quite a sharp pencil point because these bows on the harps are quite small and you want to make sure you don't have any color on the tips of your pencil. So then I use my white pencil and I just blend it all out. And then at the end we'll take a white Posca pen and we'll just redefine some of the highlighted areas. Okay, so we're going to do that on all of the bows. So we'll come down here and do the same thing, except I'm not going to use the slate gray. I'm going to try and just use more grays. And I'm going to try a silver, because the slate gray I use in the background and I think it's going to clash. So if I bring the silver here, now I feel that excuse me, the picture has quite a lot of gold and reds going on and greens, so I'm wanting something to just keep these bows standing out and not getting lost. So then I come in with my cool gray, 90% cool gray. I'll go over that with my silver. Now with these metallic pencils, you don't want to go over them with your white pencil, because that is going to dull down the color and it loses its effect. So I'm just putting the white pencil from the white part of the ribbon and just going in and a little bit into that silver. But I'm trying really hard not to go over it. And then you can just add it back as well. Now I think that might look a little bit better. So we'll stick to this one. And we'll come to this bow. So we're just going to do all the bows with silver, 90% cool gray and white. And I think that will be a good color combination. And we can test it here with this background, this bow against this background. Right, 90% cool gray. Now white pencil. Right, so that looks a little bit better. And I'm going to do, I think, all the bows white. I think it will just work. Yeah, I think it will just work better. Okay, 90% cool gray. Then silver. So here we'll just use the same colors. This is the 90% cool gray. And I want to use this sparingly because it's quite a strong color. And I'll go over that with my silver. On these bows, you could possibly use the same colors we used on the white linen for the angel. You could possibly use that color combo and it will work quite well. And then you've got your white. And any place where you want a bit more whites, you can always go in with a Posca pen or a white Uniball Signo pen, and you can just create more of those white areas. So like here, I've done the middle part dark, but I actually will go over it and make it white with my Uniball Signo pen or my Sakura Jelly Roll. So I'm determined this Christmas to color as many Christmas related pictures as I possibly can, because Christmas only comes once a year and I don't normally color Christmas related pictures unless it's during Christmas or maybe one Christmas picture in July. So I really want to make hay while the sun shines and do as much Christmas coloring as I possibly can. And then white. So what is your favorite thing to color over Christmas? I find lately I've actually been enjoying coloring animals. I quite like colouring snow, but it does get, it's a lot of work when you have a lot of snow background to colour. I'm not sure yet if I like colouring in Christmas food. But then, to be fair, I haven't coloured a lot of food, so it's hard to really say. I think that's the beauty of colouring. The more you colour, the different things you colour, the more you learn what you like. Alright, this is our last bow, so I've just really used the same colours. It's a bit of a white, it's a bit of a silver. But I think it will work and it won't get lost in the background, and that's what I'm going for. Alright, so our background. It is a bit of a random thing. What I'm trying to do is not create one block background where it's just all the same color. I want to try and add a bit of color variety. So for instance, up here where I have it dark, I'm gonna come down here and make it lighter, and so I'll create an area maybe about that much where it's lighter, and then here it will be a bit lighter. So I'm going to randomly color it and see how it goes. So up here I want a bit more of that darker blue, so I'm using Blue Violet Lake. And I'm not going to faff with making too many layers. I really don't want to be here the whole night coloring a background. I just don't have the patience for it. I know I should, but what I have noticed with the backgrounds is if I was to take it slower, I would possibly get a much nicer blend. But what you want to do is try go in small circles where possible and just lighten up as you go out. So yeah, I am applying it randomly as I go along and trying to figure out how it should flow together. I mean, the other thing you could do if you really wanted to is get reference photos of a background, of a wallpaper in a house or something, and just notice how the light falls on the wall and that sort of thing. But if you, like me right now, just couldn't be bothered, then you just want to randomly vary where your darker blue and your lighter blue are going to go. And you can also use a white pencil to soften up even your light blue. So the light blue I'm using is PC938 which I think is a cloud blue. And then, so I'm just going to be alternating between violet, sorry, the blue violet lake and the, I think it's a cloud blue. It's either cloud blue or powder blue, but it's PC1086. Yeah. Hi Dawn, how are you? It's great to have you. Welcome. Oh, don't worry about being late. It's really not a biggie. Come as and when you're ready. We've just got the background to do, and then this page is done. And I want to get some Dovecraft glitter glue, but you can use stickles as well at the end. And we're going to put some stickles, or well, I'll put the Dovecraft glitter glue in the center of the poinsettias, and I think that's going to look really, really nicely. Now, if I clean off my blending pencil, I'll show you how the blender works on this paper. And you can just smooth it out with a blender. I mean, with this sort of a picture, I really don't see the point in really faffing with the background and putting a whole lot of layers when you want to keep the attention on the tree, even on the little angel things. So yeah, if you use a blending pencil, you save your prismas, and yeah, I think it will work quite nicely. So then here, because I've got a light section here, I'm going to bring my blue violet lake and I'm going to blend it out, and I'll blend in the lighter color. So like that. Wrong pencil. I picked up the blue, the slate gray. Like, no, wrong pencil. Okay, so we're gonna come down here and finish this area off. Now, I've got quite a lot of blue up here, so I'm going to bring my lighter blue. And then down here. So on this one, it's going to have a bit more of the lighter blue than it will have the blue lake. And then again, you can take your blending pencil and just smoothen it up. Or you could take your lightest color. In this case, it's the PC1086. And you can just try blend it out. As always, if you go the one direction, try and go over again with the other direction, and it will help give you a smooth blend. And then swap over to your lighter color, and it's basically just repeat however you want to color in your background. It's just the same process, and just be careful with some of your other pictures that you don't pick up their color. So I keep picking up some of the green or the red, and it can then smudge into your background and make it look a bit dirty. And you can use harder pressure to lighter pressure, and that way will also help you vary your tone and the depth of your color. Okay, so yeah, now I come down around the tree. I'm trying to vary between having a darker blue versus a lighter blue. So what backgrounds do you like to color? Do you like coloring backgrounds? Are they a challenge for you? I'd usually find backgrounds quite challenging to come up with fancy backgrounds or nice backgrounds. So those sort of images or books where you've got the background done for you and you know how to color it, or you know it's got to be a certain way. I find that quite helpful. It takes the guesswork out of it. So I'm not sure if I really like those books where you have massive background space. But I think, you know, like with anything, with time, one can get better at it. So now I'm going to bring in my light color. So I think I've shown you enough of the background for you to get the gist of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this section. I'll put the colors I would put around the tree, and then you can carry on with your version of the page off camera. And then I will get another book and we can start another page. Because otherwise we're going to just sit here coloring in a background the whole evening. Alright, so down here I'm going to bring in a lighter section, and you can see here I keep picking up red. So just watch as you color that you don't pick up any of your other colors. Because what will end up happening is you'll end up with a weird shade of purple. And that's the other thing with knowing your color theory. If you are mixing your colors and you put a green with a red or a yellow with a purple, you can get yuck brown. So you want to, if you're blending a light blue into, say, a yellow. You want to use a light grey or a white, or maybe even a pink, and blend them, the gradient, that way, because that will help stop you from creating mud on your page. And then in your wallpaper, you'll most likely find that the bottom of your page will have a lot more of your darker shade than the top part. Because in my mind it will get less sunlight. Alright, I'm almost done around the tree, and then I will get the stickles and we can do a bit of embellishing and then finish the background off camera. So I would probably get a black glitter pen, a white Uniball Signo pen, or a Sakura Jelly Roll, glitter glue, and that's what I will use for embellishing. You don't have to use a glitter pen, you could just use a black fine liner, and it will just be to go over the strings of the little harps. Okay, so I'm going to leave the background there and get my box of embellishments. So if I move you here and I just get my gold glitter glue, so this is the part where if you prefer stickles, you could use your stickles. I'm going for gold glitter glue, and just here in the centers. All over the poinsettia centers, and then I'll leave that to dry. And then right at the bottom, now we can take some red glitter as well. I think I have red. Yes, I do. And you can put some on the ribbons. But let's first get a white gel pen. And we're just going to redefine some of the white on the bows. Can put some highlight on the bells. Redefine some of the white highlights on your ornaments. I should have probably done this bit first and then the glitter glue, but anyway. So I'm just going over all the white highlights on the ornaments. Especially on these gold bits here, on these ornaments. Mine got a little bit murky. You can also redefine any white areas on your harps. You could also put stars if you want it to sparkle. Bring you down. You could put a few stars on them so it looks like they're sparkling. I found another berry. Seriously, I keep forgetting these berries. Oh, there we go. Right, and then over all your bows, where you want your bows white. And all the white Posca will do is just intensify your white, the white on your bows. Right, so I would possibly also put in some red Dovecraft glitter glue on the red bows on the tree. You could possibly take a brush, a paintbrush, and just use that and pick up some and just smear some glitter over it. I like the idea of using the glitter glue because it will intensify the red as well. And also I think, you know, with Christmas and all of that, glitter is a great addition. So it just adds that sparkle to your page, which, I don't know, it could mimic the sparkle of Christmas lights. Okay, there we go. So that is how I would color it. I'm going to finish the background off camera so that I'm not taking up too much of your time just coloring a monotonous background. And then I will take a photo of the finished page and post it in the community post on the channel when it is done so you can see. But yeah, so that is this video. And then I thought, if you are up for another Christmas one, we could, I saw Enchanted Christmas coloring book was quite a popular request when I last did a poll. So this one is a Teresa Goodridge, and I mean, my book is coming apart. So the one that I thought would be quite a handy one is this one. And I thought we could use markers. And we could color the moon a nice bright yellow, could have bright stars. So I'm going to pull out my markers and we can have some white and black birds or something. And then we'll make it nice and festive. So I'm going to use Hoo markers as a base, and I'm going to use Prismacolors on top. So we're going to create a night sky here in the background. And I will figure out how we'll make the moon kind of glow. So I think if we take an Napoleon blue, so if you have the Ohuhu markers, you're going to take B953, and hopefully this one has got a lot of ink because one of my kids has been using Ohuhu markers for his color by number, so I don't know how much is left. All right, so we're going to just work on our background. Now I've already decided with this page I don't want to have a very dark, a various background. So I'm going to keep the background quite simple. Because these pictures by Teresa Goodridge are single-sided, they work really well with markers. They give you a lot of space to be able to practice coloring with alcohol markers. Now, they're not something I color in a lot with, so it is great fun to be able to color with them and just casually and gently step myself into the beautiful world of markers. You know, the bulk of my understanding of markers as a coloring has always been, you know, for shadowed areas. I mean, when you're a kid, you learn to color with pencils and then go over the lines with a marker or a felt tip pen. So that's been the bulk of my understanding of alcohol markers. And it's been really great to watch other YouTube channels where people do drawings or beautiful works of art using alcohol markers. And yeah, it's been quite an impressive thing to actually see. And what I've noticed with alcohol markers is as long as they're wet, you can blend them out. When they start to dry, you get like a streaky look to them. And I find I quite like the small tip to the chisel tip. I think the other interesting thing with alcohol markers is how they always look darker wet, and then when they dry you get a totally different look. So I'm just going to get out the alcohol blender and just try and blend out as well. I'll try the broaden it and see how we get on. So I'm going to use this marker to do the entire night sky. But again, I will do this bit and then I will do the rest off camera. So I'm just going to finish up a little bit more of this with the blue Ohuhu marker. Again, I'm using B953. And I did have a question just recently about whether the markers make have quite a deep smell, and when I'm using them I don't really smell them much. Sometimes you do get a little whiff of the alcohol, but it's not unpleasant and it's quite mild. Okay, so that's the color I would use for the sky. So let me have a look for, we're going to just base pretty much everything in alcohol markers and then go over it with Prismacolor. So I'm going to use porcelain blue G177 as a base for the pine needles over here at the top. And then for the trees at the bottom, I will use a hunter's green. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just using this as a base layer. I'll go and deepen everything with the Prismacolor. So another reason why I'm using markers in this on this page and not on others is because I just I think this page is really sweet, but it's not something that I feel I need to really put in a lot of effort. So I decided, you know, it's a nice one to practice alcohol markers with, but it's also one that I'll try and do well. Even if I use alcohol markers, it will still turn out really nice. But then the pictures that I really like and I want to really work on and have a different result, then I'll stick to what I know. So just have to be quite careful around the berries. I can try and lift some of that color with the alcohol marker. So I found in here a little bit of sky. So now we have the Christmas trees, which I will use a hunter green on. Okay, so that's our trees done. And now I'm going to base the moon. So we want a bit of, we'll use canary yellow, which is Y397. So my yellow is running out because this is one of the colors my boy has been using. But never mind, it will come out. And we'll use pencils to go over it and smoothen it out as well. As far as I know, Huhu has got some of their colors you can order the refills for, and I think with time they're going to branch that out into most of their colors. So I wasn't too worried when I bought the Ohuhus, because I thought, well, if anything else, I just keep them, and when they get the colors that I run out, I can order those. I still think it's cheaper than buying a full set, just to replace one or two colors. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. The snow, I will do these hills snowy. I think I'll still stick to Prismacolors for that. And we can use a French vermilion for the berries. So that will give it a nice orange undertone. Now I'm going to see if I use my colorless blender, if I can pick up some of the green that I spilt into the berries. Okay, so vermilion, French vermilion on all these berries. Okay, so that is the basing for this page in Enchanted Christmas by Teresa Goodridge. And what I will do is I will finish basing it, I will get started on some of the leaves, and then on Tuesday I will show you how to do the two fairies, the birds. We'll work on the rest of the page as well, and hopefully by next week Friday this page will be done. So I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. I've enjoyed coloring with you, and I'm so glad that we can now have one completed page in our Kanoka Egusa book. I will also be releasing over the next couple of days the reindeer Christmas coloring series that I've been doing with you. We will have the reindeer and the rest of the frame, so keep an eye out for that on the channel. And I'm excited that these are beautiful Christmas pages that we've done. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. I hope that if you have started your Christmas holidays, that you rest well, that you are refreshed for the new year. And I will see you on Tuesday and in all the other videos. Until then, take care everyone. Happy coloring.